Today's Expert Process Podcast. Do you know that it takes 10,000 hours to master any subject? Welcome to the Expert Process Podcast, where we cut the time to mastery in half with our seasoned pros. And now, from Atlanta, Georgia, broadcasting worldwide. Here's your resident expert, Durante Smith.
So we were talking about, you guys won 4 awards last night, right? 2 of them you said you weren't even expecting, which is even more ironic because I was just like, didn't even know about the awards. So can you explain to us the 4 awards that you guys did win?
Okay, so it was such a wonderful surprise when they announced the nominations. So we were nominated for Best New Animated Preschool Show.
Okay.
And Best Inclusivity.
Okay.
And so that's what we knew about, and that's what we thought we were walking into.
Right.
And honestly, I've never been nominated for anything, and it really is an honor.
It is.
And you know what? When you're there next to, for the Best Inclusivity Award, Ada Twist Scientists, that's the Obamas, that entire ground. They're the producers.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they've done some wonderful children's shows. They did Ada Twist Scientists.
I didn't know that.
Waffles and Mochi.
No, I knew Waffles and Mochi was, but I didn't know Ada Twist was.
Yeah. And Sesame Street. That's what we were nominated.
So Sesame Street Workshop, right? Is what it's called. Yes, ma'am. Huh. You guys were great company.
Oh my God.
Must feel great, right?
Yeah, I felt like we won just there, just from that.
Now I thought I saw Michelle Obama floating around there last night. Did you see her?
Oh, I was like, God, I missed Michelle Obama. How can I miss Michelle Obama?
So you knew about the 2 awards, and then you said there were 2 more that you didn't know about.
Yes. So those were at the end, and so after those 2 awards, like Heather ran out because she needed to get a glass of water or something, and then I know when John went out, and then he comes running back, and he's like, Lisa, they're taking pictures, like with Christopher King and with Mattel phones, and he's like, come on, and so I'm like, oh, but Heather's. So we grabbed Heather's stuff and went out, and then so we had no idea. Then someone runs out to get Christopher, and then it turns out there were 2 more.
Oh my gosh.
For music and voice acting.
Oh my gosh, that's so. And then you were saying that the voice acting. So we're talking about the little girl, right?
Oh, but it's everybody.
Oh, it's everyone.
The whole cast.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But you were saying the little girl was brand new. This is her first thing she's ever been in, correct?
Yes.
And you're saying that let me make sure. You said she was like 10 when she started or something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how'd you find her?
I don't. Mattel. They hired a casting director, and when they brought her in, she did a recording, and then like they all loved her.
Okay.
Right from what I heard, that they loved her right from moment 1, and they said she was our Deepa.
That's awesome.
Isn't
That's
cool?
such a great story.
Yeah, and there's an article about it, and because so Kidscreen is the animation production company, and they did all the voice records in Canada, the animation in Canada and India, and so that all of that was done there. And it's so interesting because when you sell a show, you're not in on the big decision making.
Sure. You really
are
right.
You are, yes, you are included. We were consultants, but we're not making the big decisions. Sure. So, I was thinking about this. You could really wind up with a show you don't like or even recognize.
That's true. That's very true. It happens.
Yes, and we were so lucky.
Yes, ma'am.
Because everybody who became involved with Deepa and Anoop, I think everybody fell in love with the show, and everybody has just like elevated it.
But it's an excellent show. It's a great show.
Yeah, but it's like everybody came into it and loved it in the right, loved it in the best way possible, and elevated it to places where, I think which is so wonderful, that you never thought that, wow, this is where.
So that's I think I try to explain to folks that is what you call the collaborative process, right?
Yeah.
When you find those right synergies, you find those right connections, and then everyone works together to the benefit of the project, right? That's that right synergy that you want. Doesn't always happen. That's difficult, very difficult. But once you find it, it's magic.
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of people involved, and all the voice actors were amazing. And, that they hired South Asian actors to play the
That's
role.
important.
And the writing team, our wonderful head writer, Atul Rao, he's South Asian, and there were other South Asians on the writing team.
Okay.
A lot of people of color, writers of color, and
that's awesome too.
More women.
So that's the diversity part of it, right?
Yes.
Diversity and inclusion.
Yeah.
Love it.
More, well, no, I think, and also more women than the men on the writing team. I think yes, that piece has to be there too, because
it's all part of it.
It's part of it. And then I think because it's, it's a show about a South Asian family.
Sure.
Living in some Western countries. So it's, how showing the foods and culture and time-honored traditions.
So here's the thing, guys. I want you guys to understand. It came from a place of good intention, meeting people.
Right.
They brought you over. You're having a relationship, and someone says, well, let's do a project. And you're reading the papers, and you saw something, and it clicked, and you're like, I have an idea, but can this thing work? And you throw it out there, you're like, how about this? And then all of a sudden you have conversations. And then 17 years later, it becomes this massive thing that you may or may not have ever thought about.
Right.
But it was originated from your brain, your idea, your mind. And you're like, how does it feel? Does it feel like, does that make you, how does it make you feel? I don't know. How does that make you feel?
I am just in awe of the whole thing, where something that started out as an idea in your head, and for me, that's always the favorite part of the process, because it's like, oh, it's magic.
Yeah.
It's, you're all full of all these electrifying feelings. Like, sometimes it's like the best part of the process when you have a new idea.
Sure, yeah.
And the fact that, as you go forward with it, like, you have to come to a great place to say, okay, I'm going to present this idea to the world. And then you have to figure out how to present it in the way that's the currency of the business you want to present it. And that other people, like, all of a sudden think it's a good idea too, and that all of a sudden there's all these people involved. And it just becomes a show. It's crazy. It's crazy.
There are so many components that have to line up.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they don't. And that's how a lot of shows fail, and they don't, they can't make it. But you guys have had a tremendous amount of success. So what is next for you guys?
Oh, well, we all have different shows that we're working on.
Really? Individually?
Yeah. I mean, trying to
Sure.
And I write episodes on other people's shows.
Okay.
I have shows that I'm.
You're still a writer?
Yeah, I'm still a writer.
What? After all the success, you're still a writer?
I love it.
Oh my gosh. I'm a writer. So I love your energy.
Yeah. And, it's like when I pitched, Heather and I pitched Christopher in the beginning, he's looking at me like, and I saw him looking at me, and I said, I know what you're thinking. Like, what's a nice Jewish girl from Nutley, New Jersey doing with a Bollywood-inspired like, it just and
it happens, right?
So, then I explained how I met Ram Mohan, and he invited me to India.
Yes,
and that's where, the inspiration and my life has changed.
That's awesome. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. What I want to do is, if you could leave one word of inspiration, or what you would say someone that's probably starting out, or maybe they're mid-career, like, what would you advise them? What would you tell them? What would you want to, impart with the audience?
Never give up.
Oh my gosh. So true.
Yeah. Never give up.
And easier said than done. Yeah. You hit the brick wall, like you said a few times, right? And then something happens that gives you that little spring to keep going, right?
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to know which are the projects to keep going on. Sometimes you have to know the moment, okay, maybe I do need to put this one down for a while and, go on to something else.
Oh, yeah.
I think, I look at these as my offerings,
Yes, man.
And it's kind of like you're spreading the love.
That's right.
And when I start to look at it like that, that takes all the pressure off from feeling like, oh my God, I've got to go out and sell a show.
Right.
There's a lot of pressure with that.
Very much so.
And it is so crazy hard to do that.
Right.
And there are so many things that have nothing to do with you. Like, when you're meeting companies and you're there with the dog show,
right,
and they're like, oh no, we're
right,
dog.
Right.
We're not doing
right. And that's like here, like that's because this is really international market.
Right.
So Kidscreen, so for you guys that, haven't really followed us as much, what you're saying is when you go in, you make a pitch with any of these different companies and organizations, and especially like the broadcasters like a Disney and Netflix and those guys, they're hearing so much of the same type of property, right? You just never know what's going to line up with what their vision and what they're looking for, and who's already kind of beat you to the punch.
Right. And they all have different development needs, whether it's you're a broadcaster or a production company. And if they're a production company, they may only be developing projects in-house, or some of them are looking to develop stuff from other creators, or I don't know, or they're only doing service work, like just producing the episodes for, a series that's already on or going to be on.
And streaming makes it that much worse. But streaming is like, it's complicated everything. It's complicated their money, right? The bottom line.
Well, I don't know about all that. It does provide more places that need content.
Yes, ma'am.
So in that way, it's good.
Good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for us. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. What would you like to let folks know? Like how they contact you, your company, whatnot. What would you like for us to know?
Oh, well, I'm on LinkedIn.
Yes, ma'am.
So anybody can contact me on LinkedIn. It's probably the best way to do it.
Lisa Goldman.
Goldman.
Yes, ma'am. Goldman.
Gold, like Goldman.
Yes, ma'am. All right, guys, sir. LinkedIn again. Well, that's where you want to go. There's your source.
But also no, I'm not a producer. I mean, I'm not a producer who's looking to produce other shows.
Sure.
I'm a writer, a teacher, whatever.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. You enjoyed it. Guys, you heard it first. Yet again, another great interview. Durante Smith, The Expert Process. See you next time.